Frankie Winters, a.k.a. Bag of Donuts. Frank, good to see you again, man. How are you?
Good, guys. How you guys doing?
Good morning in Florida. I love the
Good
sun.
morning.
I think we're going to see that today here in Wisconsin. That's kind of cool.
Are you really? Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful day, 85 down here and sunny. So
Nice.
it's been a great week to be down here because I heard the weather's not too good up back home in Chicago.
Got it. Well, we were talking earlier this week, Frank, and this is why we reached out to you to have a chat. When you were with the Packers, 93 to 2000, Green Bay split with the Vikings and obviously dominated the Lions and the Bears. But we talked earlier this week as we prepare for the Vikings to come to Lambeau Field and 5 out of the next 7 games against the NFC North. Is it still the black and blue division, and is the Bears still the biggest rival of the Packers, or should it be the Vikings? What do you think?
I think the Bears are the biggest. I mean, they're all rivalries. They're all rivalries. They're all big games. You have 4 good teams in that division right now. The Lions are still good. The Bears are playing. They're playing great. They're winning games at the end. And even though maybe their schedule doesn't show it, but still, I mean, they're winning the NFL on every Sunday to win as many games the Bears did in a row. It's a pretty amazing accomplishment. So you have to tip your hat to those guys. But it's a tough division, and there's so much parity today in the NFL with the salary cap and guys being moved on free agency or via trade or to the draft. So as you guys could tell, every week any team on Sunday could beat anybody. And I hate to say this, you look at the Packers. Sometimes the Packers, games you expect them to dominate, they come out flat, and the opponents come out, excited to play them, and they kind of take it to them. So if you're not ready to play on Sunday, you're not going to beat anybody in this league, especially at the talent level they have at today's game.
Frank, do you think that from a fan perspective, though, and now not playing, that it was a different feel against the Vikings then, and just the state of Minnesota and the team than it is now?
Well, I mean, the Vikings when I was up in Green Bay, they were a good team. It was always between us and the Vikings, and we always playing for the division title to win the Central, but they're all rivalries. They're all good teams, and if you take anybody lightly, you're going to get beat. So I think you have to go in there with the mindset. You got to look at it to get to the next level in the NFL. You have to win your division. You have to play well. You try to get home field advantage. Those things help you they propel you to the next level. Having the best opportunity to get to the ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl. And if you can't take business in your own division, take care of business in your own division, it makes it tough to go on the road in the playoffs and win. And especially when you're playing at home, it's I was telling some buddies down here today. It's back in our prime days. I mean, we went 3 or 4 years without losing a game. At home. And if you don't take care of business at home, it's you put yourself in some tough situations to go on the road in January, and it makes it very difficult to get to that next level. So it's a home game. You have to win your home games. They should be a check mark in your box. And if you can't win them at home against teams that don't have winning records, then you're going to have issues later in the year. And then you put yourself in some win or lose situations in December and January. So this is an important game. You have to win at home with the next, especially when you have to go to Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, which is going to be a tough game. You're still going to play Denver, even though they're in the AFC. They got a tough schedule coming up, and if you can't win your home games, it makes it even more difficult on the road, and it makes it more difficult to the next level in the playoff scenarios.
Frankie, Bag of Donuts Winners, joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Somebody just texted in, Frank, on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Does Frank hate Corey Fuller as much as we probably think he should hate Corey Fuller from the Vikings? Your eye okay from 96?
Oh yeah, it's all good. That's kind of a heat of the heat of the battle moment. Things happen, guys. Today we probably both would have got suspended, for a week and stuff. But it's part of the game. it's an emotional game. It's a tense moment at certain times during especially big rivalry games, and back then, it was a big rival as we played. I mean, we had some good teams. We had some good battles with guys like John Randall, Henry Thompson. They had Randy Moss and then Jim McMahon was over there, and it was such a rivalry. And some of that was brought on by players because some guys would say things about teams and say it wasn't a rivalry. They're all rivalries, But Corey Fuller, what I've talked to him since then. We kind of kissed and made up and stuff like that. But it's just part of the game. It's the heat of the moment. Things happen. It's a different game now than it was back then. It was more of a physical game, and guys can't do that. Well, today it's a little more. Things you got to be more careful what you do or say in football games today.
Frank, it took a little bit of time, but at least in my mind, I figured out the identity of this current Packers team has been that they are very inconsistent and they seem to play to their competition. If they have an opponent that does really well, they stay with them. If they are facing an opponent that they shouldn't be doing very well, they stay with them. And I'm just curious, as someone who's played, why does that kind of play happen? Why is it that teams seem to, at times, it at least comes across as they're playing down or up to the team they're playing against?
It's a good question. If I had the answer, I'd be hired by every NFL team to help them with that direction. It starts with leadership. It starts from the top down to the bottom. I mean, as a coach, as a general manager, you have to have your players and you have to instill in those guys to make sure that they're ready, not to play down to your not to play down to the level you're playing at. Perfect example. You look at the Bears. I mean, the Bears, their schedule is not very tough, and they're not playing great teams, but they're winning, and they're winning at the end of the games. And it's now their confidence level is exceeding expectations, and it's like you know, as long as they keep on winning, it's going to get tougher for them to believe otherwise in December when the Packers have to play them twice. And if you recall last year, the Bears should have beat the Packers twice last year, and and it starts at the top. I mean, I recall Mike Holmgren. First thing he would say if we weren't playing a good team. I mean, I think it was in 1993 that we lost the 90. No, I think it was maybe in the Super Bowl when we lost the Colts and they were 0-10. And I think we were winning 35-3 at halftime, and they came back and beat us like 41-38. Ever since then, Holmgren would talk about, he would instill in us about not playing, don't take things for granted. You respect your opponents. And sometimes you look at the Packers this year, going into Cleveland and, then tying the Cowboys and then, losing to Carolina at home. I mean, and then, kind of laying a goose egg on, in against Philly at home. It's like I said earlier in the program, you have to win your home games. And if you don't, you put yourself in bad situations. And the one thing about the NFL, everybody's accountable. You're only guaranteed that year. And I think with new leadership in Green Bay, we'll see how things go. But I mean, over the last 30 years, it seems like it's not good enough to win the division in Green Bay anymore. Everybody has bigger expectations and aspirations. And, as a player, guys make a lot of money. So you got to be ready to go out there and perform at a high level and do your job, and everything else will take care of itself.
Frankie Winters, Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers center from the 90s team under Favre. Yeah, you were kind of under Favre. I mean, for the most part, he was kind of under you too. It's a little weird. We had Brian Broaddus on the air with us, who was with the Packers back then and now works with sports radio in Dallas and does shows about the Cowboys. When the Packers were playing the Cowboys, we had him on just to preview that game. And he started going down memory lane of driving you guys around as the Uber driver back then. Do you have any memories of Brian being your Uber driver?
Oh, that's a long time ago. Sometimes I'm still doing pretty good, but I mean, there's so many things, with recalling that it was a lot hazy back then, as we were young kids, and enjoying our NFL careers and living as young, professional athletes. It was awesome, but yeah, well, nothing comes to mind of those memories.
I'm sure
Sometimes you try to block some things out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you try to put things in perspective, and you try to keep some things more private to yourself.
Heard. Got it. We weren't expecting him to tell us anything.
Yeah.
And he all of a sudden became an open book. And I'm like, all right,
Oh,
well, Josh and I need to shut up. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of those memories that he brought up, I'm not surprised you don't remember.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure everybody's got memories about Brett because, when you're the quarterback, that usually happens. But as an offensive lineman, it's just like, you just kind of, you go along with the flow and, you just, you try to hide in the background and stuff and try to keep out of the public eye and keep to yourself and stuff. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I hear a lot of stories about me and they're like, oh yeah, remember this 25, 28 years ago? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, some of it may be true, but some of it I don't recall it. So, I mean, maybe they expect you to, when you get older, over 60 years old, they don't expect you to remember. So they just make up stories and you're going to say, oh yeah, I remember that. But I don't, if I don't recall, I'll let the person know right away.
Yeah. Deal. Frankie Winters, once a legend, always a legend. Good to chat with you for a few minutes here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, my man. Don't be a stranger. If we reach
All
out,
right, guys.
we'll have you back on. We appreciate you.
Good luck, guys, and hopefully the Packers going to win home this weekend in Green Bay. They need it.
Amen, boy.